The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy.
Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wyldeside with Eric Clark. I am your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my little video a watch and listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, following, hit that notification button, and you're linked up with me on all the social media. That way, if there's a song, band, video, something you want me to check out, you can hit me up with a DM or leave it in the comments below. If you are going to hit me with a DM, please no spamming, unless it's actual spam. And then there's a mailing address down there for you. If you are going to leave it in the comments, become a CONCURPA. There are two ways to become a CONCURPA. I've always said y'all are my Sherpas on this new music journey of mine, and because I always say I concur instead of whole diatribes, it's just easier. I've just basically called all of my subscribers CONCURPAs, so you can read through the comment section. If you see that someone has already made your comment, your suggestion, or suggestion you dig and agree with, all you have to do is below reply with I concur and like that original suggestion. That'll help my old burnout resin-coated DJ brain get everything into a nice little organized list. Put it in the handy-dandy notebook. Another way for you to become an official CONCURPA, check out that Patreon I've got down there as well. I will be doing Patreon requests, and I will be doing videos only for Patreon members. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be making videos and taking your suggestions for regular YouTube videos. I'm just saying, if you're a Patreon member, you get a little zhuzh. You get a little extra love from me because you're helping support the channel. All of the links are down below. Before we get to today's video, I do want to say thank you to Connect 200, Music to See, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Today's video is coming from a CONCURPA, an original CONCURPA, and one of our moderators during our live streams that are twice a week. Wednesdays, 11 a.m., Saturdays, 2 p.m. We are streaming live from the east side of Music City. Well, Valte reached out to me and said, hey, man, it's been a while since you've done a Nightwish video, so we're back on the Nightwish train, and today we are checking out Come Cover Me, live Buenos Aires 2018 from the Decades Tour. And I think I have one of my posters is an autographed Decades Tour poster. So thank you very much to Kevin Brookover for all of my cool Nightwish swag that you see behind me. And I do believe I have a Decades autographed somewhere, so that was super cool for him. So today we're checking out Nightwish, Come Cover Me live. Here we go on the Wyldeside. The pipes, Danny, the pipes are calling. Hits me every time. Three Nightwish tattoos. doggy. Yeah, that was a chiller right there. Thank you. Great end to that. That is Come Cover Me, live Buenos Aires 2018 Decades Tour Nightwish here on the Wild Side. I said great harmonies. This whole song is a great example of perfect layered harmonies, right? A lot of times, not a lot, but there are Nightwish songs where some things are a little bit more upfront than others. And some things are, the way Tuomas, he's such a genius at making those layers, right? He's that trifle of metal, the perfect layering of harmonies in this track. So let's go with the Holy Trinity I go with there. She's got the audience, man. The control of the audience, the interchange with the crowd, that ether in the middle between the crowd's energy and the band's energy is creating this really good positive energy and light in that ether between the energy coming from the crowd and the energy coming from the band. And they're so good at controlling that as well. They're so good at bringing people along, and almost like you're just holding on to the reins and allowing them to ebb and flow with their music and with their performances, and you just turn yourself over to it. I mentioned I saw 3 Nightwish tattoos on forearms. So again, you're talking about a band and a singer who are capable of completely capturing you just with tone. And the layers of tone in this song are super clean. What Empu is creating in that tone is very clear, yet it has an edge to it. But the edge, it's so hard. The edges aren't sharp. They're still smooth. They're smooth edges. And the interplay with the band, always with Nightwish Live, they add that extra instrument, don't they? The joy that they have playing on stage with each other and playing in front of a crowd, that creates an added energy, an added tone, an added color to your performance. So it's almost like an extra instrument. When I teach people how to do voice work or speaking on a microphone, I always say smile when you talk. If you smile when you talk on the phone, if you smile when you speak into a microphone, people can hear that. You can hear a smile. And when you're singing and smiling, it just creates this added aura to what you're doing. And it's almost like I said, this extra instrument that is created. And Floor's control, going from the soft to the powerful, and there's no real loss. The only thing I could say is generational loss. I know it doesn't make sense, but in my mind it makes sense to me. There's no, and when they're going live is when you can really see it, there's no struggle in the shifting of her vocals. So she's able to go from one type of vocal to another type of vocal and somehow connect the two with this third vocal in between. So it's not just a soft vocal, then a hard vocal. She's not doing that. She's building. Her voice is almost its own full orchestra. So she's able to adjust, as we would call it, on the fly. And that's very rare, because sometimes when a singer, especially live, is going from one register and key and note to another, higher, starker, harsher, there's usually a gap somewhere in there. There's a drop, there's a ramp, there's something in there that's telling you they're shifting from one to the next. What Floor's able to do is control her voice to start in one, go to another, and create something in between that binds everything together. And I said at the beginning, when you start with those pipes, when you start with that flute, the recorder, whatever you want to call it, it sets a tone. Sometimes the tone can be melancholy, and that's a danger with some of these pipes. It can create this melancholy. But when you listen to the song in its whole, it's more of a yearning. The vibe I'm getting from the overall temperature of the track is a yearning, and you can hear it in Empu's playing. Yes, it's very clean. Yes, it's very crisp. But there's almost not a whine, but it's like on the precipice of a breakdown. You can feel the emotion behind everything that's being played here, from the harmonies of guitar that Troy and Empu have, the harmony vocally that Marco, Troy, and Floor get, the harmony that Floor, and that's why I said this is a great example of layered harmony and how to do it correctly, because everything in this song is harmonizing. Tuomas is harmonizing his keys with that bass to create that forward drive throughout the song. The kinetic heartbeat in the song is Kai on drums, and he's real subtle too. I heard some real cool subtle stuff during verses, and that's not normally done. That's a Keith Moon trick. That's a jazz drummer's trick to have a roll or a fill, something real sneaky while the verse is being sung. Because normally the fills and the rolls in the bridge building is done between verses into chorus, and from chorus back into verses, they'll have some rolls or fills. But what I like what Kai does, it's very reminiscent of Keith Moon, that he does the cool little subtle double bass roll while she's singing. So you're focused on her, and then suddenly there's this stutter in that rhythmic heartbeat that you're making connecting to the song. So it's real super cool, real super subtle. And I like what Marco was doing with the bass. I wrote down Jaws, and I know that this may not make a lot of sense, but the Jaws theme is 2 notes. It's F and F sharp, dun-dun. And when I'm listening to his bass, that's what he's creating. He's creating this momentum with his bass line that is normally left to the drummer. Normally the drum is going to be pushing the song forward. But it was almost like while the drums and the keys are harmonizing, Marco is taking the song along with that heartbeat, with that pace, because that's what the theme was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the shark's heartbeat, stuff like that. And in this track, you can really hear where that pulse is coming from. It's coming from Marco's bass. It's coming from that drive, that forward drive that he's laying down there, so that everybody else can ebb and flow throughout the rest of the track. And again, I've said this before about this band and how Tuomas is one of the best creators, constructors, composers of our time, because he understands amounts, meaning measure. He understands when to insert certain sounds and tones and when to pull back on them. And this song is a great example of how he can take all of the harmonies that are happening between little tiny fragments of the band, put them all together, layer them properly, and you get a great track like that. So again, the guy's just a master. I call him the metal layer cake baker. But it's like, he's just so good about understanding what needs to go where. And he also understands sometimes less is more. So nothing is pushed in a Nightwish track. They go right up to that line. It's almost like the dog from a Foghorn Leghorn cartoon, where he gets to the end of his leash and he's still, ready to get over that line. And that's where Nightwish gets into their pocket, right there on that borderline of chaos. And then they control it. And then they create this wonderful tone through it. And then you add in the joy and the happiness that they have while performing. And it just creates this really cool aura around the entirety of the performance. And again, it just adds this gravitas, this flavor to it, that had they been more demure in their disposition, you may not have heard the song the way you hear it now. So well done. Thank you, Volte, for getting me back on the Nightwish train. Again, I'm trying to get down General Gabriel's list to get to all of the Nightwish that everybody wants me to check out. Thank you, Kevin Brookover, for all of the cool Nightwish swag that you've sent me over the past few months. Really appreciate that. I'm going to need we're going to need a bigger boat. See, it's all going to be coming back to Jaws today. I don't know why I got Jaws on the brain. So anyway, thank you very much for that suggestion. Volte, the moderator of our live streams. We are live streaming every Wednesday and Saturday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. respectively. Another opportunity for you to ask me questions about the music industry, my time in radio, my thoughts on bands, songs, albums, whatever it is you have. It's just 2 hours of fun and frivolity, live streaming the Wyldeside Live, the gathering of the CONCURPAs. And you can become a CONCURPA. All you have to do is leave the I concur comment below a suggestion you agree with, or if you want to be an official CONCURPA, you can join the Patreon and help support the channel. All the links are down below. Make sure you're linked up with me. That way you can get me your suggestions, your comments, your criticisms, and anything else that you have for me. Thank you to Connect 200, Music to See, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy day being awesome to give my little video a watch and a listen. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this has been The Wild Side.